This guy's ill, man. Yeah, we know. We know. Trans debates need to go crazier, all right? This is the issue, I think. I've heard these points made 100 times by people 1,000 times smarter. This young man's... Who's my man's here? Who's my man's here? Which one, Ryzek? None of them, okay? But everyone wants to be Jewish. None of these people are Jewish, okay? They're all pretending. This is what DGG is. It's like DGG chasers. I had an inkling. I had a suspicion this was happening. I had intel suggesting this may be the case. I'm happy to see we are being delivered content, dropping right into, just as I ask for content, it drops onto me like this. Crazy.
What did you do? What did you do?
Did Bitdefender just wipe my shit? Bitdefender,
oh my
why?
God, brother.
Bitdefender. Wallahi. I'm gonna...
Wallahi.
Oh, Smeth's here.
Oh, this is pretty bad. This is pretty bad, I gotta say. This is
there's
actually
Smeth.
bad.
You could have joined immediately, by the way.
Okay, Smeth's here. Thank God. All right.
What's up?
Right.
I was about to start skipping. Okay.
Sing beautiful people for my beautiful people.
All right, word. I'm sorry, I didn't really catch that.
It's all right.
We were trying to speed run a bunch of research real quick, but I realize it's not a super empirical debate, so I'm good.
Well, you were saying we briefly talked, and I think it's not empirical, but I think you think it's more empirical.
I think it's more empirical for sure. Because if you're asking
you've already let me gaslight you.
Okay. Well, I think if you're asking a question of like, is there an essential difference between...
See, this is an advanced technique. Smeth has employed it. You know in JJK, okay, guys, you know in JJK, how when they explain their powers, they get stronger. That's what's going on here, okay? Smeth has said, you've let me gaslight you. I'm gaslighting you, which makes the gaslighting stronger, okay? That's what you have to understand. This is an advanced technique. You guys wouldn't understand this. But Smeth, as a Mr. Girl fan, has fully internalized this, okay?
Trans people and cis populations, such that there's like an actual basis for it outside of just a social contagion or some like you said, like a red pill movement that's just like kind of people looking for fulfillment. I feel like that is kind of a question of looking at, okay, what markers do we have biologically for that? You know? Okay.
Well, so I made the comparison to red. This is something I recently came up with. Red pillars, I'll get criticism from those type of people. They'll say, well, if you want what you want out of life, you gotta change yourself. You gotta become the alpha male, whatever. And I feel the same way. It's like, well, I also want to become a woman or whatever. And I learned a long time ago that what I really need to do is I'm a freak, and maybe you don't like me, and that means I have to try 3 times as hard to get what I want out of life. But I'm not going to change myself. I'm going to force the world around me to change, or I'm going to force my way into some place where I fit in.
Word. I mean, that's one way to look at it. If you think that it's all just kind of a socially driven source of pain, there's nothing like essential there. Because like if you believe that like dysphoria is a very real thing, it's not going to be something that's like entirely driven by society forcing you to conform, right?
So there are studies that show... I'm sorry, I'm not answering your question directly. I don't want to...
It's cool.
I don't want to... What is your question?
Well, I just think if there is something essential to transition, then what you just said about it being like a unnecessarily socially enforced expectation for people to transition is kind of wrong, just on the face of it, based on like whatever factual basis we have. Because yeah, if there's like a medical reason to transition, like an essential dysphoria that will only go away if you do transition, there is no social adjustment that would correct it.
Dude, Jesus Christ, the Sharty raid is just crazy. They're gonna. I guarantee this gonna be blamed on me as well. It's not fucking. Why is the chat so? Well, they've been posted on Sharty or something, and they get a bunch of fucking retards in the chat. It's gonna be blamed on me. So annoying. I know it will be now. I've got that vibe.
I think that being womanly and being a nice person, being a people pleaser, or having ADHD. I think that these are not. So there is, like what I was about to say a second ago. I have ADHD. You can tell because I just started 3 topics without finishing any of them, and you don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. And
right.
So yeah, I have ADHD, but also I don't think that it is real. But I do think that there are studies that show differences in people's brains who have ADHD. But there are also studies that show differences in people's brains who play the violin. And I think it's they've decided it's probably related to fine motor skills and music, listening to music. But in particular, different from other musicians, violinists have a slightly different brain. But I don't think they were born to be violinists. I think that their brain is different because they are violinists. And so I think that my brain is different. Like I have ADHD because of my childhood and my parents fucked up somehow. So I think that if you and I don't even think that. So let's say that you have a brain that looks more like a woman's brain, right?
Louis,
I don't think that there's anything wrong with you.
Christ.
Just like I don't think there's anything wrong with me. And I don't think you have to change your body. I think your desire to change your body is awful, and that's like that. The dysphoria. I think that's real, but I don't think that you were born to have dysphoria.
Oh, I don't necessarily think that you were born like genetic. Like I don't really have a strong
This
leaning
girl
towards
said ADHD is fake in his hotline the other day. I mean, he said that many times or something to that effect.
born to it, or even having like a genetic predisposition to it. I just think that like whatever the case may be, it could have just been in like an onset environmental cause very early on. This population that's seen as transgender seems to not really respond to anything other than affirmation for revealing dysphoria. It seems to be a more essential force in their lives.
What do you mean when you say essential then?
By essential, I mean like it's an attribute that they have that can't really be ignored. I don't know. Like it's part of them physically. It's a biological trait. I guess that's what I mean in that context.
Okay, so by that definition, I think that you could say that I'm trans because I have, in my last stream, I was just bitching about it the whole time. It's what the whole stream is about. Where does my misogyny come from? My resentment and my jealousy of women and my feeling like a misfit. It makes me really, really resent and makes me really misogynistic. But I don't think that, I don't want to take it out of myself. I want to, like, so I see transitioning as taking it out on yourself. You're changing yourself so that you can be happy with yourself. It's like I don't see it as any different from cutting yourself or anorexia. I respect people who are trans and they go through a lot to look the way they do. And I don't, I don't want anybody to transition. But if you have transitioned, I'm not like here to shit. Go for good for you. You know what I mean?
Okay, so
you've done something cool. I know it's weird. I don't think you should have done it, but I think it's cool, kind of.
Okay, so the correct. I'm kind of losing the plot a little bit. You said something about it being similar to anorexia, though, and that's always a sticking point for me. I feel like the key difference there with the understanding that I have would be that it doesn't require like a lack of insight, for one, and for two, there is like a meaningful end goal that you can reach that would mitigate your dysphoria, without like that you wouldn't talk therapy it. It would be like an actual physical change that seems to resolve it, or at least mitigate dysphoria. Whereas with anorexic people, you'll never get to like 30 kilograms or like 10 BMI, and then they'll like magically be cured. So
I think that anorexic people feel a lot happier when they're skinnier.
Well, that's true, yeah. And I think like there's an element.
So that mitigates it.
I mean, for one, it doesn't mitigate the actual problem there. Like I've struggled with kind of eating disorder stuff before, and it seems to be more of like a mode of like dealing with anxiety. Like it's a very much like a coping tool. So it seems like when these people reach like a given weight, they might feel better for a little bit, but the end goal isn't really there. It's just kind of a way that they feel less.
I would say Mr. Girl he definitely at least sees himself as a moral crusader. I wouldn't say his worldview is more immovable than a Christian person because it's reasoned. Most of it is reasoned, right? In some way, you could absolutely reason him out of a lot of positions if you had. It's not okay. Well, I'm not engaged with you.
Shitty about themselves, day to day.
Well, I see being trans as the same exact thing.
Why? Arguing with somebody.
I don't think there is like so. I would say it's even worse than anorexia because you actually can become skinnier, but you can't actually change your sex. So
just like this is just like, and you can't type either. Just neg faith. If he saw Jesus, would he believe it's an aberration? Okay, I don't even know what.
And I mean that to say like the technology we have is like I would be saying something different if we actually had like pain-free, easy like options if we had like a button that you magically press and you instantly change your sex, I would do it every day for fun. Okay. But what I'm saying is you actually with being anorexic you actually can get to what you want, and with being trans you actually can't ever get there unless what you want to be is something in the middle.
I have two issues with that. One is the idea of anorexics having somewhere that they want that's like understood, because that's never really the case. It's always kind of just an infinite like addiction?
I think I don't think that's true. I think they want to look like an Instagram model, and they might have a warped perception of themselves. That means that they always think that they are fatter than they are, and they may not realize that they actually are the thing that they want. But I think that that's the same thing as being trans. I think that what the desired outcome is to feel comfortable in your own skin, and I think that so for me, I've chosen I feel like I have the disposition to be trans, but I've chosen to be comfortable in my body and mad at the world instead. So I see it as if I were to be trans, if I were to transition, I'd be taking it out on myself, but I want to take it out on everyone else. That's what I want.
Okay. I mean, I hear you, but I feel like I could put a pin in that for now. The other part of it that I had an issue with is I'm losing the plot a little bit, but what was the thing that you said before I addressed the anorexic thing? I'm sorry. I lose track of the conversation a little when it goes to I should write like
Smeth's portrait.
I'm also not very linear.
Yeah, I'm very linear. I'm sorry. That's like a big contrast. I guess I can stick to the anorexic.
Well, you're not good at keeping it. You're not good at keeping it on the train tracks.
You're right. But the anorexic thing, I very much disagree that there is. I do agree that like culturally it seems to get like induced from girls wanting to be like Instagram models or having some ideal usually.
I don't think Smeth. No one. I didn't hear Smeth say anorexics get to a point where they feel skinny enough. Dude, I'm gonna run this back. If he didn't say that, I might actually just ban everyone in chat who's pretending that's what he said. Okay, because what I think Smeth said, I fucking hate engaging. This is like the worst part of watching anything that's like Mr. Girl adjacent. People start saying stupid shit. I don't think he said that anorexics get to a point where they feel skinny enough. I think what he said was that anorexics feel happier when they are skinnier. As in, a fat anorexic feels happier, feels less happy than a skinny anorexic.
I think they want to look like an Instagram model, and they might have a warped perception of themselves. That means that they always think that they are fatter than they are, and they may not realize that they actually are the thing that they want. But I think that that's the same thing as being trans. I think that what the desired outcome is to feel comfortable in your own skin. And I think that so for me, I've chosen I feel like I have the disposition to be trans, but I've chosen to be comfortable in my body and mad at the world instead. So I see it as if I were to be trans, if I were to transition, I'd be taking it out on myself, but I want to take it out on everyone else. Trans with technology we have, it's like I would be saying something that I don't think there is I would say it's even worse than anorexia, because you actually can become skinnier, but you can't actually change your sex. So and I mean not to say like the technology we have is I would be saying something different if we actually had pain-free, easy options if we had a button that you magically press and you instantly change your sex. I would do it every day for fun. Okay. But what I'm saying is, you actually with being anorexic, you actually can get to what you want, and with being trans, you actually can't ever get there unless what you want to be is something in the middle.
I have two issues with that. One is the idea of anorexics having somewhere that they want that's understood, because that's never really the case. It's always kind of just an infinite addiction.
I think that I don't think that's true. I think they want to look like an Instagram model, and they might have a warped perception of themselves. That means that they always think that they are fatter than they are, and they may not realize that they actually are the thing that they want. But I think that that's the same thing as being trans. I think that what the desired outcome is to feel comfortable in your own skin. And
okay, which part of that do you disagree with? He said anorexics have a warped sense of self that means that even if they get to the perfect Instagram model physique that they think they're getting, they will still believe themselves to be fat. Which part of that are we disagreeing with? Which part of that is controversial? With the initial statement, they can get to the desirable outcome. Yes, it is possible to become skinnier. It is not possible to become a woman if you're a man. There is no desired outcome, only the feeling of discomfort. Okay, that's not the point of what Smeth's saying. He's not saying there's a stopping point. He's not saying there's a stopping point. He explicitly said the opposite. He said anorexics have a delusion that makes them have a warped sense of self. Means even when they get to what they think is the stopping point, they believe that they're not there. Anorexics probably have a stopping point, an idea in mind of what they want to look like. They look at an image. Okay, okay. If that's the case, Hellbent, I can just time you out for an hour because I don't want to sit here and hash out with people in chat who are just desperately looking for something to disagree with. Some minor disagreement in framing where someone's used a phrase that you take slight issue with, but the meaning of what they're saying is something you entirely agree with. And then we spend 5 minutes going back in the video to see, oh, wait, Smeth actually said something that we almost all agree with. He just used, Jesus, he used one word that I took slight issue with because it implies there's a stopping point, even though he later counteracted the idea of a stopping point with a further statement that qualified his belief on it. So I'd rather not do that the whole fucking time.
And I think that so for me, I've chosen. So I feel like I have the disposition to be trans, but I've chosen to be comfortable in my body and mad at the world instead. So I see it as if I were to be trans, if I were to transition, I'd be taking it out on myself, but I want to take it out on everyone else. That's what I want.
Okay. I mean, I hear you, but I feel like I could put a pin in that for now. The other part of it that I had an issue with is
I know Ukraine is losing. Don't take it out on Hellbent.
Losing the plot a little bit, but. What was the thing that you said before I addressed the anorexic thing? I'm sorry. I lose track of the conversation a little when it goes to.
I'm also not very linear.
Yeah, I'm very linear. I'm sorry. That's like a big contrast. I guess I can stick to the.
Well, you're not good at keeping it. You're not good at keeping it on the train tracks.
You're right. But the anorexic thing, I very much disagree that there is. I do agree that like culturally it seems to get like induced from girls wanting to be like Instagram models or having some ideal. Usually, that's usually how like the habit comes into play. But I think it's a bit like. It's a bit analogous to like smoking or like an OCD person washing their hands excessively or turning the lights on and off. I feel like anorexics have like an irrational fixation with limiting their eating habits for stress regulation. I don't think it's very much based in like an end goal.
Well, I don't agree. I think that if it's spurred on by Instagram models, there is an end goal. And the end goal is to be an Instagram model, and an Instagram model is a fictitious image that you actually can't actually be, which is the problem. Just like transitioning, you want to be who's like the most famous, most beautiful like trans woman, and like I guess, but like I'm thinking of something like Tex-Tattage looks kind of still like a human being. I mean, like Instagram model. Like there are trans women that look like like dolls. Like they look like Instagram model women. And I think that vast majority of people that transition, you're never going to get there. So I think it's exactly the same thing. And and so, but I was talking to Ray Williams, and he was telling me that there are a lot of trans people that settle for being like in the middle, and they're just like, I want to be like a freak, you know what I mean? And they're like, I want to be like a weird, like non-male looking, non-female looking person. And it's like, oh, that's kind of like, I kind of respect that a lot, because they like, okay, fuck it, I'm balling, you know, I don't know.
Okay, so one issue that I had there, and I remember it now because I was going to say it before, you mentioned earlier that an issue with transitioning and why it's kind of worse than anorexia is because it's fundamentally irrational because they'll never become females, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think I have an issue with that because based on my own experience and from what I understand from trans people.
I think he's trying to say sort of sexual conditions are brought on by... Yeah, well, he's saying that both trans people have an image in their mind of what they want to be, which is a woman, and they can't, or if they're a MTF, obviously, and they can't technically ever get that, right? And he's saying in the same way, an anorexic has a fictitious image of like an end goal that they can never achieve, right? They think this is where I need to end up, but they'll never be there. They'll never get there.
Well, the goal isn't really to necessarily become biologically female, but to mitigate dysphoria by having less of a physical difference between your internal sense of your sex or your gender and your body.
The more female you are, the more mitigated it is.
The more female like you are, I would say.
Yeah.
Yes.
So if you were to become female, you theoretically would have 100% mitigation. But then even then, you'd still want to be a beautiful female. And so I still think it's the same.
It's fair. I personally think Zog is good.
Trapping that all women have. I think that the Instagram model effect. And
right, so, yeah, sorry.
When I want to, sorry, I don't want to. I'm going to pivot again. So
it's cool.
When I want to lose weight, I look at Instagram models. I think about how it feels to be sexy and desired, and that is the path that leads you down anorexia. And if I were to live in that world forever, it'd be unhealthy.
Before Zoc.
Yeah, I guess I do agree with you that a lot of trans people go into transitioning with unrealistic expectations, and there's a lot of people who will target being like very attractive. But I think that is like more of a woman brain thing, not really emblematic of what dysphoria is at its basis. There are like loads.
So you actually think people are born with women brain?
Maybe not like literally like a girl brain or a boy brain, and it's like perfectly categorized, but probably more of like, if I had to guess, probably certain features of your brain are exhibited in women and not in men.
But I'm saying that I think I agree that it is woman brained in that way. but I think that it is like, so I think that if you are a trans woman, you have the same affliction that most women have. And I don't think that it's healthy for women to play into it, and I don't think it's healthy for trans women to play into it. I think women should stop shaving. Like, even though so for women, it'll make your life better to wear makeup all the time, to dress slutty and to stay skinny and to shave all your body or whatever the fuck you have to do. And maybe for trans people, it might make your life better, make you feel better about yourself, or give you access to community or access to theoretically different options romantically. Theoretically, I don't know how realistic that is, because I think a lot of people end up isolated depending on where you live. But I think that it's the same thing. I think it is. You are a fucking woman. As I was saying that last time I streamed, that I'm a woman in this way. You are a woman. You are a woman in this way.
I'm a real woman, yes,
no, not a real woman. No, I don't. not by. When I say real woman, I think that means female. But when I say in this context, when I say you actually are a woman, you actually are thinking like a woman, and you have a lot in common with women, and more than men.
I mean, I would say that I do have like an inherited set of commonalities. Like, I do want to be pretty. I probably do want to be skinnier. I do look up to like Instagram models to some degree. But I wouldn't say that that's like essential to dysphoria, or like,
God, I want to be an Instagram model. I want to be a slut. I want to be a slutty girl on the internet so bad.
Fuck it. This guy's ill, man.
I mean,
I want to be loud. I want to be loud.
Yeah, we know. We know.
Wow.
Yeah.
I think a lot of women would probably want to be alive. Yeah, you're right. But does that mean that, like, I mean, is that all there is to transitioning if trans people happen to have similar desires to women?
Well, I agree. I don't think dysphoria is something to be, turn your nose. I think it's a real and really serious thing. And I think that dysphoria to the point where you feel like you need to transition is not very far from suicidality. You're saying you believe you're wrong, and so that's real. You really have that brain. Your brain thinks that you're wrong and hates itself. You hate your body. And so I don't want to shit all over that. That's real. You know?
I mean, if you agree that, okay, so basically from your perspective, you're saying it's real, but it's just kind of an irrational sort of feeling. You think you're ugly, which I know is like Mr. Girl's position as well. It's just like body dysmorphia.
All feelings are irrational. It's just that this is particularly unhealthy.
I think I would, if you have, this is why I said that there's kind of like a fundamental facts basis for the argument, because if you believe that there's like a neurological condition of dysphoria or like some actual physical basis there, then it's not really like an irrational thing to want to resolve it. For example, someone in chat asked a hypothetical.
If you define it as real, then it's not irrational, but I don't agree.
Well, yeah, that's the issue. That's why it gets to more of a factual basis, because if, like someone in chat asked, if you're born without legs and you experience lower quality of life due to that fact, is it irrational or delusional or non-essential to get prosthetic legs? Yeah.
Yeah, but that's a, like, actual disability. Like,
well,
you're like, if you're trans, you're a healthy human being, and there actually is nothing wrong with you.
Well, that's essentially the disagreement, right?
To transition, you have to like cause serious damage to your body and your ability to reproduce.
Well, I would
and your
say,
sexuality.
yeah.
One thing this one pisses me off that people like to pretend is not true is that transitioning does fuck with your sexuality and your sex drive. And
sure.
Emery super chatted $1.99. Smith wannabe taftadge.
Thank you for the $1.99, Emery. Thank you.
I met trans people who like are told that that's not true, and then they transition and they're like, oh shit, like that is true, and wow, now I'm like this.
I mean, I will tell you that's definitely true, but I want to quickly, I'm sorry, I'm really bad. I should build a point more that what you said before about
tough one to grab.
Yeah, trans people being completely healthy. I would say, oh my god,
their bodies. Their bodies.
You said that you basically said non-subjectively transitioning is bad for you. I would say that it's kind of analogous in my head, given that I believe that there's like an essential condition there that can be resolved.
These are two unironic sexists reflecting AGP onto all women.
With affirmation and have decent outcomes. In my head, it's a bit like treating like
probably
depression with like SSRIs or something. There are like clear negative outcomes to your health physically, but like subjectively for this group of people, it can be effective for them.
Right. So I think that too. I think that the act of ameliorating a negative feeling through drugs might have, like, clearly, there are benefits to doing that, and there are people who probably need that, and there's a reason we have these drugs. But I think that the act of ameliorating your negative feelings about yourself or your life, or ambient negative feelings or ambient anxiety, comes at the expense of your actual mental health. I think that, like, so if you are depressed, it's because your life sucks in some way, and for you to take SSRIs, and taking SSRIs means you're going to put up with whatever it is, and that's not good. And so I think that a lot of trans people, there are probably, the thing about trans, there's probably a lot of different reasons to be trans, but in general, I think that there are probably people, particularly probably your parents or something, the way people have treated you, that you've internalized, and just like I have, that you being a man or you being a woman is related to the way you're treated, and it is related for everybody, trans or not. People treat me a certain way because I'm a man. There are things that about me that people can call me a loser or a failure or whatever, where they wouldn't do it if I was a woman. They would be criticizing me in a totally different way. So people care about different things in men and care about different things. The way people treat me is very different because I'm a man, and I resent that. And I think that coming to terms with the fact that, so I think the healthy solution is for me to stand up for myself and say, hey, fuck you all. Everybody in my life that's treating me like this, you shouldn't be in my life, or you're not treating me right. You're like, I don't want to be treated like that. And to try to surround myself with people who...
We got this on 1.5. Yeah, guys. And we're slow back down. We got the farmers content. I may stick some coffee in the percolator. I gotta be keeping it 100 with you right now. We may have to percolate some coffee.
Will actually treat me right. And I think that trying to ameliorate those negative feelings comes at the cost of making those changes where you end up with a life.
The fuck is estrogen brain fog? Oh, so estrogen makes you dumber? If you guys are aware of this, it makes it harder to think. It makes people dumber.
Where people are treating you right.
Yeah, I mean, the take that I'm getting from you, if you don't mind me reframing it, basically, you feel that there's an essential problem usually with depression that sometimes people will try to ameliorate and ignore with like SSRIs, and it can have bad outcomes for them because instead of getting rid of the issue causing the depression, they've just ignored the symptom of it. And you see transgenderism as like analogous to this because they're ignoring the body dysmorphia or self-hatred that caused them to feel that way.
They're ignoring they're ignoring the even more hidden shit, the system that they live in. It could be even more ambient and less easy to pinpoint, but it could be that the school that you're living at, the housing that you're living in, just the city that you're living in, it could be like your teachers or your parents or your friends, and they are all making you feel like you don't deserve to be happy, that you're not good enough the way you are, or maybe you've already been made to feel like that and you've internalized it. You were made to feel that way in your childhood, and now it's lingering and it's persistent. It's going to be really, really hard to get rid of, but I don't think it's impossible to get rid of, but it will be really hard. And I think that the way to do that, I mean, I picked some really fucking weird music for this moment. The way to fucking do that is to get mad and transitioning, I think, is getting mad at yourself and taking it out on yourself, but you should fucking take it out on the world. That's what we need. And like, that's when we need to make the changes in the world that'll make it better for people. And then I think less people will be transitioning.
Okay. So what if I told you, in my perspective, I basically believe that even if the world was completely ideal and accommodating to any
depression can be a biological long-term imbalance, a literal birth defect. I hate these guys trying to get people off SSRIs. I agree that you shouldn't try and get people off SSRIs, and that depression can be a long-term thing that does require medication. But like in the UK, at least, if you go to the doctor and you say, "Oh yeah, I'm feeling rough right now," they'll just give you SSRIs. That's what happens. You go, "Oh, I feel like I've got some kind of, you could go in there and say, fucking, I'm hearing voices," honestly, I think. And they'll give you SSRIs. If you report any kind of mental health issue to a GP in the UK, but you basically just get given SSRIs. So the way we probably approach it right now is probably stupid. I'm sure there are people who SSRIs have good outcomes for, but that doesn't seem to, I don't think most people are using them right now, probably using them because that's the best option for them, the best thing to help their mental health.
Type of person, and these environments were like solved, I would still say that there is something there that would cause them to want to transition.
I think that in this hypothetical, this perfect Truman Show-esquely perfect hypothetical where everything's perfect, I don't think you would actually want to transition. If theoretically for every single individual, you could Truman Show their whole life and control every variable so that they do not get any messaging and they don't feel like there's something wrong. They aren't taught to feel like there's something wrong with them. I think that they wouldn't want to transition.
Okay, sure. I feel like
so like
the evidence,
my desire.
yeah.
Wait. My desire. So my desire to be a lav or be a slut. You know.
Sure.
Like if I grew up into like a world where it's like. I mean, I've gone through a couple periods where I made like OnlyFans, and I've been a slut. I am a slut, but I wasn't encouraged the way like a woman is, and I didn't really get anything out of it. Nobody fucking cared, and like women, because it's complicated, but
yeah.
But if I was accepted as a slut, you know, I feel like that's the thing. I feel like men have to work really hard to prove their worth, and they have to become stoic, and they have to become stoic and like a tool and a machine just to be deserving of love and be deserving of family and community, where women are by default deserving of love and community. And if I feel like if I was treated by default as deserving of love and community, then I wouldn't be so resentful of women,
guys,
resentful
I'm gonna
of
keep this playing. I'm just taking some coffee on though. Okay, 2 seconds.
myself and self-hating, and I would be content.
Okay, I understand. You basically, okay, I don't super understand it. I'm going to be honest with you. You feel you would have been more content with yourself if people were more accepting of your desire to be a slut, right? Or to be feminine.
Well, I've lost the whole desire to like have a woman's body. Well, no, actually, no, I still want that. It'll still be fun. I still want that. Yeah, but it's not like I have well, I do have body dysmorphia in some ways, but whatever. It's normal amounts, I would say. But I am resentful that I'm not like, so I went to art school, and all the women at art school, because it's like 70% women, they all got like supportive boyfriends that gave them a leg up in life, and they, you know, like nobody's ever going to do that for me. Most women actually want me to do that for them. Like, fuck you. No. So it's just, and so I'm going to have to work if I actually want to have that role and be that bitch. I have to work harder.
Yeah, so basically you saw there's a lot of things that are nice of the social package of being a woman that you kind of envied.
Yeah.
I mean, I definitely think that's a real thing. Like, a lot of men feel envy for how much more women are like empathized with, or the roles that they get in relationships where they're usually seen more as the receiver of care.
Yeah, women don't end up homeless for this, because I'm looking for an apartment right now, and so they're like all the art ho, because I mean I call them art ho communes because I've gone to them very often, usually on Tinder dates, and they all want women or females. They don't say women. They'll say we accept everyone, but they want females, and that's not me. So
okay, I mean, what if I told you that just by virtue of you feeling comfortable with yourself now, in spite of not transitioning, there is like kind of a marked difference between, you know, me and you?
Well, of course, like you just said what it is, but I don't think that so being comfortable with myself comes at the cost of having to try 10 times harder, right? So like the other solution that I could take is I could become a red pillar, and I could be like, I have to become a Giga Chad. No, I'm still that bitch, and I still want that, and now I'm just gonna have to try 10 times as hard to get what I want out of life, and it's not impossible, and I will do it.
Yeah, sure. I mean, there are like loads of possible motivations to transition, which I know you're getting at, that are outside of like an essential dysphoria. That's true, but that doesn't really like negate the existence of dysphoria.
I don't think it does.
Really?
No.
So why would you not believe that affirmation is like a valid response if you diagnose someone with dysphoria?
I just don't think affirmation is a valid response to any psychological situation, condition. Like if you are, if you believe that people are following you, telling somebody that's true, and it's okay because people really are following you. I don't think that's the most healthy thing to do for them. I don't think it's healthy to help an anorexic person starve themselves. I don't think it's healthy to transition trans people. And if they like, so if a trans person is like actually going to, end their own life, unless they transition, I think that them transitioning is a soft version of ending their own life and trying to make a new life. And so I don't really think you've changed their suicidality. I think that you've just like redirected it, but like they'll think they're suicidal. And I don't think you're actually I don't think you've actually made that go away. Because I don't believe you can ever just be happy by transitioning. I don't think you can suddenly find happiness by getting plastic surgery or any of these things. It's just no. I don't think you
can. Okay. Well, then basically that would suggest to me that you don't actually believe in dysphoria in the way that I do. Because I believe that okay, sorry.
Maybe I don't.
Yeah. What do you think dysphoria is?
I think that if you gender dysphoria is that you hate your body and you hate your sex, and you think that people your association with how your correct association with how you're treated, you're based on your gender, makes you horrified by your life.
Okay. Well, I would say it's more than just disliking how you look, because I would call that some form of body dysmorphia, most likely, or just being like insecure as like a regular human being. I think dysphoria is like distinctly like an emergent distress that you get from having like an incompatibility between your neurology that has like a rough internal sense of sex and your actual sex. That's kind of.
So
again,
would you say that a suicidal person has life dysphoria?
No.
So I know you I think you were talking about somebody on the last stream that you mentioned this girl.
I'm back.
And she talks about suicide.
Okay, we back. Have I missed much? Well, have I missed much? Did I get a raid? Why is there so many people here? Where'd you all come from? I AFK'd. I'm a total asshole. I AFK'd for coffee. Okay, have I got a raid? Someone tell me who, so I can.
Suicidality a lot in her videos. I don't know.
Totally
maybe you didn't. I don't know. Maybe I'm misremembering.
No, I don't remember this goal, but I would say that suicidality. Anyway. Sorry.
So I think that
I said I was
by that standard, you can say that anybody that's suicidal has life dysphoria, and they believe that they should be dead. And there's a lot of people like that, and I think they're all fucking wrong.
I think the issue there is you're basically saying that by virtue of having a medical problem, it can be branded as. I guess like dysphoria technically is just distress if you look at the literal meaning of the word, and gender dysphoria would be specifically applying to this emergent property of what used to be called gender incongruence in the old DSM. But
it was a Sunday raid. Oh, that's huge. Oh, that's huge. That's huge. Thank you for the raid, President Sunday. Welcome in, President Sunday fans. We're just watching Smeth debate trans JSTLK, as you may see from the title.
It's not really seen as a mental disorder. It's seen as just a symptom that is called mental distress. But anyway, I would say that gender dysphoria is unique from suicidality because it's caused by a physical condition. It's not from someone having a delusion or.
I think it is an equal physical condition to being so suicidal that you believe that you are meant to be dead and that it's wrong for you to be alive. I think that if you believe that you're meant to have a different body than the one that you have, and you're meant and it's wrong for you to have the body that you currently have, like if you lack legs, then you lack functionality to function in society. But you don't have any lack of functionality. You just have I don't. You are like there is only your desire is to take away functionality, and I don't think that it's
Sure. I mean,
just changing yourself. Even I'm even against changing yourself laterally without removing functionality, like doing makeup to look like you are younger or anything like that.
Okay, let's say I told you that someone could hypothetically have a really low budget and they never do skincare, they just do caked up shitty foundation every day and they ruin their skin over the course of like 10 years from like being a teenager to an adult, and for the rest of their life they just have like eczema. Would you call that like a healthy thing to do? Or
I don't think that it is. So I think that the skincare topic is, well, skincare, makeup, like it's all the same thing. We're trying to make people look like younger, more doll, like, pristine.
Yeah, but there's a negative health outcome associated with some things that you can do to look better, but there's like kind of a subjective value there that you kind of, hey, there's like informed consent in play that you can kind of decide on, and then there's also medical basis for things like, for example, taking depression medication with like a million side effects.
This is
bad for you,
stuff.
Usually, but are excused because you have this net effect that's useful for this group of people.
Are they still going? Yep.
I think that every individual it is.
See, why is this sucks as a debate? Okay, I gotta say, trans debates need to go crazier. All right, this is the issue. I think I've seen this debate too many times. I've heard people argue. I've heard the Mr. Girl perspective of, you're trying to attain some societal benefit. There's these social dynamics that men are trying to obtain by transition. Whatever. I've heard that versus the more medically based, current affirmation model perspective. I've heard this argued many times. We need to have, if there's gonna be trans debates, it needs to be like, why are there so many trans lolicons? That should be a question. That should be the debate question. Something like that. It's got to be some crazy... It's got to be some new angle to it. This doesn't give you many opportunities to say... To give any out of the ordinary perspectives, This is lame. I've heard these points made 100 times by people 1,000 times smarter. I don't need this debate again.
It's beneficial in your life to do makeup. It will make your life better when you do makeup, but it comes at the cost of everyone else, because for every one person that does makeup, everyone else is uglier. And so, yes, if you are the one who doesn't take the pills so that you have nice skin when you're an adult, you will have a worse life than everyone else. And that's because everyone else is taking the pills and they're forcing you to take. It's like plastic surgery in society is going on. It's on the rise, and it leads to a society where more and more people have to get plastic surgery.
That's the thing. That's what makes the topic so good. Is when there's a topic where there is literally like no research, no data. You literally can just talk out your ass completely, right? Those are the best debates. Are ones where there has been no research into the topic. So you're scrambling for like ancillary, like, sort of adjacent research to sort of back up points that you've got, and then just kind of winging everything else. Those are the best arguments.
Standards of beauty rise in South Korea. The amount of women getting plastic surgery is like 20% or something like that.
To be honest, it's an ultra nightmare difficulty trying to have a real conversation about trans stuff. I think that's true. Not on YouTube, at least. I think you can talk about trans stuff pretty freely on YouTube. No, I don't think that's true. I think you can talk pretty freely about trans stuff on YouTube. Unless you literally think they should be put in camps or something. Then maybe you can't. But on YouTube you absolutely can. I think you can express an emotion about trans people. Yeah, I think you could say you don't like them. I think you could say you don't like trans people. I think I've said I don't like trans people, probably tongue in cheek, making like a joke about being transphobic. But I think as long as you're not saying stuff like X hostile action should be taken against Y group of people, X, Y group of people are responsible for the downfall of society. You know, this sort of thing. You probably can't say. But if you wanted to say, I don't think it's possible for a man to become a woman, or I don't think Max got banned off Vimeo for benign trans stuff. Yeah, but Max will get banned from everywhere because they want Max gone from everywhere, and they will come up with any reason to get rid of him. Right? And Vimeo's not YouTube. I don't know what the TOS on Vimeo is like, but I know on YouTube you can there's plenty of channels that talk pretty openly, what people would call transphobic, right? But I doubt Tim Pool approaches it from a particularly empathetic perspective, does he? Or even Daily Y, yeah, great example. Yeah.
And to apply for a job, you have to send headshots and shit. And their amount of plastic surgery going on there is exponential. They're the plastic surgery capital of the world, and we're going towards that. We're getting more and more and more of this stuff. And so I think that these beauty alterations do make your life better, and it is a race to the bottom.
Okay, sure. I mean, I could follow this for a little. The beauty thing is good, but only subjectively. It's not like this universally perfect thing. It has like negative consequences as well. You would agree, right?
Well, I don't know what you're saying.
Like you've identified that there's a bad holistic like societal experience that women have once you have makeup introduced. They have a increased standard. That's one of the negative effects that you have.
But they have a good experience when they put the makeup on.
Yeah, so there's like a subjective value there.
Their bad experience comes when they don't wear the makeup. But I'm saying that as a collective, when everyone wears the makeup, it means that the one woman not wearing makeup looks like a fucking hideous beast because every other woman's wearing makeup. Yeah, so on an individual level, it only looks like if I wear makeup, my life will be better. But on a societal level, wearing makeup makes everyone else's life worse.
Okay. I mean, the main thing that I kind of want to pivot to or get you to acknowledge is that there is like a decision there that isn't entirely like a universally good thing to do, but it's kind of beneficial to one facet of their life. Like a person choosing to wear makeup is not making a decision that is like perfectly good for their health in every possible way, but subjectively they've decided, okay. And
I wasn't talking about like, so it could be good or bad or completely neutral to their health. I'm just saying that they will have better social outcomes wearing makeup. As a matter of fact, it will. Sure. But like I wasn't talking about their health.
Okay, but I would say that there are also health negatives to wearing makeup. For example, even like body dysmorphia is like a component that comes in. Some women put on makeup and then they start to actually dislike how they look without makeup. You have actual physical skin effects as well. Like if you wear foundation every day, your skin will get worse, especially if you're not cleansing it after.
Right. So not only is it bad for everyone else, in the long run, it can have negative outcomes with you too. So everybody should wear makeup. I hate it. I like.
That's where I disagree. I would say there is still a place for makeup. It's just not this entirely unnuanced good or evil. It's a subjective value.
Well, I'm saying that it makes everyone else's life worse when you wear it. But caveat, okay, I think that it's fine if you wear makeup that doesn't look like it's your, like, so I have this attitude about makeup that is meant to make you look younger and like change, like, but if it's like goth makeup, you're not trying to look like, it's clear that it is makeup. So I don't have a problem with self-expression. If your self-expression is that I am too old and I need to look younger, or I need to look more pale, or I need to, I just need to look like a sexier version of myself, that is what I have a problem with. Because not only is it bad for all of society, but it's also it's a lie. And so we're all living in this lie where we think that women are a lot uglier than we think.
Okay, I hear you. Makeup has very negative social implications, but I do think that there's a place for it because it makes women feel good. And
me too. But
sorry.
Yeah, well, I think there's a place for it, but just not like I think that if it extends to the point where you can call it like clown makeup, I'm like, fuck yeah.
Sure, you know what I mean? I would say that like there's room in society.
I don't think women use makeup as much as people think in both amount and frequency. I think I disagree with that. I think it depends who you're talking, whose perception you're talking about. Yeah, come to England, Guinea, for real. Oh my god. Pathos is spitting. What the fuck? I feel like for a lot of people's perception, women probably wear more makeup. I think, but sure.
Society for subjective decisions that can.
Yeah, of course they are. Guinea.
Have value in one facet of your life, but aren't necessarily all good.
I don't want to stop them from doing it. I just think that I just want to acknowledge that when you do put on makeup, it makes every other woman uglier. So it really is. It's like on so many levels, like Mean Girls is the reality. And even if you're the kindest, most empathetic, kind, nice woman, whatever, you don't even realize it, but you're participating in the Mean Girl world because like you put like, or I don't know, maybe you don't, but when you put on that makeup, you're actually playing the Mean Girl game because when you look prettier, you're making them all look like shit.
So how do you feel about guys getting like really buff or potentially even taking we don't have to qualify that part actually. People who get really buff at the gym.
It's not.
like,
It's not a lie. It's not a lie though. And so like you have to like work out really. So I don't think that there's anything wrong with like diet and exercise. It's honest. If you do steroids, it is a lie, and it's the same thing. And it's worse because it's probably it's worse on a different level because it can have extra negative health outcomes. But it is a lie, and it's just as bad in that way.
Okay, interesting. Let's say a woman gets cosmetic surgery and she's very convincingly a very pretty like 10 out of 10 woman.
Liar.
It's
She's
a lie,
making the rest of us look uglier.
Okay.
So, yeah, like because you have kids with her, and her kids aren't going to look like that.
Okay.
And everybody else that like now everybody that doesn't have cosmetic surgery looks uglier because of her.
Well, the thing is, like, if you have sex with a gym bro who's like 5'9", your kids aren't going to come out looking like a, Arnold Schwarzenegger. They're going to come out just being short people.
If they work out the same way he did, then they will.
Sure, but it's not like an inherited trait.
It is an inherited trait that they have the genetics where if they work out like he did, they'll get his same outcome. If he does steroids, then they won't.
If a woman has a nose job or if she wears makeup every day,
when you work
her
out,
daughters could do that too.
When you work out, it is a reflection of your genetics and your genetic capabilities.
So you're okay with having a influence to the social zeitgeist of what's expected for appearance if it's like sourced from.
This guy's fucked in the head. Nothing cringier than men judging women for wearing makeup. I would never, for I'm one of the good ones. And then like a little monkey. Frequently we'll see no evil. Okay.
Your genetic code, if it's something that you can reproduce.
Working out is not putting on makeup. It's like your physical health. Like working out is healthy.
I feel like the now I'm looking at it, the spike profile picture actually makes that.
And like it's not a cosmetic change. It is just your body.
Yeah, but it is partially cosmetic.
Being sexy is, so somebody that works out is sexy, and that is not a lie. They actually just are sexy.
Okay. What if you got corrective?
Unless they do steroids, then it's a lie.
What if you got punched in the face as a woman and you had corrective nose surgery to make it normal, but then it made you more attractive than most women because they gave you a cute button nose? What then?
I think that is a lie, but I understand it. And so I don't think like if I was a king of the world, I wouldn't just stop everybody from doing all these things. But I would want them all to know that. So I want them to feel guilty.
What if they have a sign on their forehead that says, "I got a nose job"? Does it become good then?
That becomes amazing. It's like, well, it's all that dude, Boogie getting liar tattooed on his face. That is so fucked up, dude. Fuck.
Yeah. I mean, so for you, it's partially the health benefit justifies it, and then B.
No, I'm saying that if you work out, it is actually just your body. It's not a lie.
Yeah, but part of it, like the reason I brought it up is it's partially analogous to creating like a social environment where people have larger expectations for themselves because you have upped the ante.
Okay. Actually, you know what? I will agree. You know what? You're right. Bodybuilders, that are not doing steroids but are still bodybuilders, and they're doing like shit every day. That is completely So like, let's say we lived in a society where all men are doing like dumb workouts that aren't actually, well, it's still going to be good for your health, but it's just not that good for your health. It's not actually going to make you too much more fit, but you're working out your glam muscles, and you probably still live longer. So I think there is some level in which it would be you're making everyone else uglier by like a rich guy that spends all of his time like perfecting his body, like Andrew Tate. Like you can't have a body like Andrew Tate unless you're rich and you have a lot of free time. You know what I mean?
Sure. Yeah.
So. For him to say that anybody can do that easily, or just try, you need to have free time. So,
what if I told you Andrew Tate? Sorry.
What if he's probably doing steroids? I don't know. What is he?
Yeah, I mean, like most people at the gym who are like that big, or I guess Andrew might actually be natty. I'm not quite sure. I'm not big gym bro or something.
He looks like he could be natty.
Yeah,
and he was an athlete. He was a fighter, and they would have been drug testing him. So I think he might actually still be natty.
It's more possible that he's just like, because he's like toned, he's not like ridiculously huge. But yeah, what do you think of people who they do have a health benefit for it partially? Well, technically testosterone's bad for you long term, but in your 20s, you're gonna be really powerful. What do you think of that?
Think of what?
Taking testosterone when you're like a young gym goer.
I think it's a lie.
It's a lie, but it's also, I mean, it's technically unhealthy as well. That would be part of it, no?
What are you fucking getting at?
I'm trying to figure out your like qualities for when this becomes.
Dude, that's crazy. No, I think that's the first time I've ever had like that same gut response, like tickle in the back of my head, shot down my spine feeling from a Mr. Girlism that I get from Destinyisms. That was crazy.
It's a lie, but it's also, I mean, it's technically unhealthy as well. That would be part of it, no?
What are you fucking getting at?
It's just like that's like such a max a maxism, isn't it? What the fuck are you getting at? Yeah, it doesn't hit the same, but it's such a maxism.
I think it's a lie.
It's a lie, but it's also, I mean, it's technically unhealthy as well. That'd be part of it now.
What are you fucking getting at?
I'm trying to figure out your like qualities for when this becomes bad, because I think overall I would circle it back to these are, in this case, there isn't really
dishonest.
Medical. Sure.
Because when it's dishonest, then it makes everyone else look bad because it's not what a human being looks like. And if we have an expectation of human beings being...
Smith is saying that when you conform to social expectations and reinforce them, you are making the world worse for everyone else because you give them less freedom and make the impetus for them to conform higher, stronger.
Something that's not actually what human beings look like, then that's a lie, and it makes everyone uglier.
Okay.
But human beings actually do look muscular if they work out. Working out is not like getting a surgery or anything. Working out is something probably everybody should do.
Okay. Yeah, I hear you. But if we were to loop it back to the original argument, I guess the only analogy I was trying to make is there is some subjective value you can decide on that isn't really perfect for everyone in society, or even yourself, really. But there's this one value to it, and I feel like when it comes to taking depression medication or transitioning, there is like a possible basis there that can make you justify it.
Where he's saying that you shouldn't. He's saying people should stop conforming. Yeah, be ugly. Yes, he's saying be ugly and suck it up. Yes, yes.
Rationally, even if there's like a perceived harm in one aspect. For example, taking exogenous hormones will reduce your libido. It will probably potentially cause blood clots. It will probably give you heart problems if you have way too high of a dose. Maybe if you have
saying go to the gym, eat well, don't fake being attractive.
Lack of hormones, like in the case of puberty blockers, you have like reduced bone density, but there are like potential cases where it could be overall like a net good.
It's a lie.
It's a lie. Wait, so if someone with, let's say hypothetically, which I think seems to be borne out, is slightly better than placebo. Let's say SSRIs seem to have really good outcomes for people diagnosed with depression, and the way that I understand it is, you said earlier, you believe that they're skipping over the cause of depression by taking SSRIs. What if it's borne out that by virtue of taking SSRIs, they're able to correct their circumstances, and their outcomes are actually very good?
Well, then that's good.
Because, like, yeah, very often the state of mind is helpful in improving your life outcomes as well. Yeah.
Yeah. Sure.
But that would mean that, like,
I think it is a tragedy. I think that they shouldn't be in a situation where they need to resort to that, but it makes sense that they would, and I support it. But yeah, I think that's not the ideal solution. It's like having an option of two bad solutions, two bad options.
But realistically, like, everyone with depression is going to be there for a reason. They're not going to like be able to wake up and then fix themselves. Very often, like, fixing depression requires like a
you've already made this. I know. Yeah. I get it. I just
Yeah, but it would still be a lie, I guess, technically, because you didn't really get there in a normal way or in like a.
Well, no, we're not talking. That's a totally different topic. Like with the lie thing, I'm talking about like beauty. So I'm saying that like you look like you have genetics that aren't what you have, and it's in fact not anybody's genetics. It's just like Instagram models, filters. That's a lie. Makeup is a lie. Like cosmetic surgery is a lie. Like I want people to just look like people, and then we will all be more sane, and we will all look less ugly as a result.
What if I told you that people transitioning don't necessarily have a goal of becoming like models or sluts or bimbos or whatever the fuck?
Excuse me. I don't believe you.
That seems to be the majority of trans people.
I think they want to be attractive. I think they want to be attractive.
To be clear, everyone wants to be attractive. I'm not going to say that that's not true. Everyone does want to be attractive, but the goal with transitioning isn't to become a model. That's what I would say. Like, I do agree with you.
The goal of being, the goal of being a woman with a capital W in society is to be a model. And so if you want to embody the role of being a woman where your beauty is now your source of empowerment, then the goal is to be a model. And if the goal is just to be like a hairy feminist, then the thing that a hairy feminist would do if they were in a man's body would be to not transition. So the way to be a woman without being a model is to just not do anything.
I would say that there's for one, there's that's another issue I have actually. Do you think that like you can not become a model and then be a woman just as like a hairy guy?
I'm saying that the women that are not trying to be models are opting out of the social gender role.
Well, yeah, but I would say like, okay, so
to opt into the gender role means that you want to be a model.
There is like more of an expectation of certain traits associated with women outside of being a model that most trans women prior to transition won't exhibit. They'll usually be like higher muscle mass, have less fat in their face, they'll have shorter hair. There are things there that they might want to correct and become more in line with like the average woman before they even think of aspiring to being a model. Do you disagree with that?
I think it's incremental. I think that like I was saying, I think that the goal, being a woman means that you are empowered by your physical attractiveness. You are empowered by your body and your sexuality and your presence is a commodity, and I like that about being a woman. There's negatives. There's plenty of negatives, but if you are one of the feminist women who doesn't play into the gender roles, then you don't do any of that stuff. So I think that if you are, like, I think this is where you get into like lav territory with
Sure.
like it's just like the trans women are, playing into gender stereotypes and gender roles.
Sure.
Because if you want to be like a hairy feminist woman, just don't do anything, and you're equals. That's what they want. That's what if they were to be changed in your body, that's what they would do.
Right. I would say that there's a lot more to being a woman than being a model. Like, I think there's like
I say that as a catch-all, but
Sure.
like the expectation, all the expectations for women. I'm saying being a model, but like the model as the archetype. All the expectations for being a woman. Those expectations, if you are a feminist woman, you ideally won't feel like you need to live up to those expectations. So there's nothing to change about yourself.
I mean,
So feminism saved me.
Yeah, the one
being
issue,
trained.
another issue. Yeah, sorry. I would say that there are like clearly an association. There's an association between certain traits.
I'm waving my hairy face, pussy proud.
Okay, I hear you, Queen. But I think most people in society wouldn't see you as a woman. Is what I'm saying.
But I don't care because it doesn't matter. I don't even care if you think I'm a man. It doesn't matter to me.
Wait, so
Would you let your bloodline die out if the only person who'd have your kids was just pearly things? I wouldn't have an option. The bloodline's dying out. There's no way. I don't think I could possibly.
you're like more of a gender abolitionist angle, where you believe that being a woman is not necessarily tied to any physical marker.
I think being a woman is tied to how we treat females.
Okay, but in that case, how would you be a woman or a female?
I'm just me.
Okay, but what if I told you that some
She is
people
that
have like a
bastard.
distinct sense they
She is
should
that
be
bastard.
like this?
I do have that distinct sense. Okay, I'm a male, and people treat me different because I'm a male, and I hate them. Okay, they're all fucking assholes, and they're treating me wrong, and I don't want to be treated that way.
What
So
is a
there.
woman?
What is a woman? Woman is somebody that is treated a certain way because she's a female,
So
or perceived as a female.
okay,
I perceive you, your voice, like your appearance from your photos.
I
I
appreciate
perceive
that.
you as female. I do,
okay,
and so I'm treating you like a woman.
okay. So
Not that I treat women very different, though.
that's kind of similar to my view on it in a roundabout way. It's basically a certain set of traits and behaviors that are associated with adult human females. That would be roughly what I would call a woman, right?
Yeah.
I would say that in that case, you agree that there are very real expectations for what woman is when you go into the world, or when you have even like an internal conversation with yourself.
Yeah, fuck those expectations.
Okay, but those are expectations that, for one, you internally, most people will feel because it's reinforced. It's
Yeah.
probably partially essential, actually.
I
Probably-
expect myself to have a sexy thigh gap, but I don't. And you know what? I hate that part of myself. That part of myself
I
is
hear
the enemy. That part of myself is the enemy. I'm gonna kick
Okay.
my bra off and expose my flat chest to the world.
Yeah, I would say it's partially the social reinforcement there, and it's also your internal sense of your sex that plays a big role in what you see as like man or woman. So I would say it's not something. It seems like since these things are like women and men seem to have stayed 99% lined up with sex throughout all of history, I don't think it's like an entirely
Apparently, the content gets ruined soon. I'm hearing.
socially constructed thing. I think it's something that will likely exist even privately if you put someone in a void of space where they only rub around themselves with a mirror. I think they would actually still have a sense of it.
Yeah, because of society. Society's wrong.
No, I
We're
actually
treating
think if
people
you raised, I would
On
argue
an
that
island?
if you raised someone in an island, yeah, removed from society, they would have like a vague sense of like what woman is or what man is.
I think that there are some behavioral differences between men and women.
Guys, we got 100. Guys, this is sickening to me. Okay? This is fucking sickening to me. 190 votes on the poll. This is fucking sickening to me. 190 votes on the poll, but 110 likes on the stream. There are 80 people who are happy to expend the energy to vote on the poll, but they won't like the fucking stream? What? Guys, seriously, we need to fix this now. Okay, this is insane. This is insane. Okay, I can't let this go on. Okay, 212 people watching right now. Okay, 118 likes on the stream. Means there's about 80 people at least who could be liking the stream right now. Thank you for the £1.49 banana peel, Futop Athos. Thank you. Welcome to Tom Foolery's world. Yeah, Tom does the well, when he was on YouTube, Tom did the polls in his chat, and it's like thumbs up sees, everyone says no, and then thumbs down. But guys, seriously, very important stuff going on right now. I'm seeing 123 likes right now. So it's about that's like 90 less than the current view. We can push a few more. We can push a few more likes in there, I feel like. There's a few people that can either move their cursor to the like button and click, or press the like button on a mobile device using their finger. Both of those acceptable. Now, if you want to support me even further, you can go to the Stream Elements link in the pinned chat message where you can donate directly. You can buy a membership to the channel through YouTube. You can gift a membership to the channel. You can gift a whole bunch of memberships to the channel randomly throughout the chat. You can buy yourself a super chat, which will highlight your message and read it out on TTS. Or you can buy a super sticker, which will buy a little YouTube image or GIF and highlight it in chat, and I'll read it out. You can go to discord.gg/Kuihman, twitter.com/Kuihman, and reddit.com/r/Kuihman. Okay, thank you.
And they're probably very slim, really. There's some, but most of them are going to be informed. Like for instance, morphology in itself. The fact that men are stronger means that they're going to within themselves have because I'm stronger. I want to help people that are weaker. So that'll change my psychology in big ways, starting from when I'm a little child. And so there will be things that your morphology in itself will change about your psychology that wasn't even like. But it's an impact between your nature affecting your nurture in a cascading effect. But I think that the actual differences behaviorally, if you level the playing field, and we live in an empowered society where we don't need to be protected, we don't need men to be big, strong men with club that save women from Bowser. I think that in a level playing field, the differences are not that big. I think that so for instance, the intelligent or the forbidden intelligence charts with men being stratified in the dumbest and the smartest, and women being stratified in the middle. I don't think that men are born to be either dumb or smart. That doesn't make any fucking sense. I think it's because men are in a role where they feel like to be deserving of love in the society, they need to take high risks. And with high risks, I think that living a high risk lifestyle might make you a retard in the end, and it might make you a genius in the end. I think that your intelligence is an outcome of a lot of decisions you're making as you're growing, or decisions society is making for you too. So I think that men are dumber and smarter because of how we treat them. And I think that women are safe and in the middle. They take the safe path because of how we treat them. And if we expected women to take risks, then they would be stratified as retards and geniuses, and the men would be the safe ones.
Sure. I do agree that there are environmental influences to stuff like this. But I do think that given all that we've seen in the world historically, how much these seem to be expressed in every society, these big divides in gender strictly along sex lines, in most cases outside of transgender people, that I would argue have existed for a while. It seems like there is likely an essential reason why men collect into certain behaviors or women collect into certain behaviors.
Sure, some of them, yeah. I don't know what they are though.
I would say it's an equally large role, or probably even bigger than social enforcement. But yeah,
we're never going to know unless we start leveling the playing field.
Yeah, you're right. A lot of things have been removed. The strength of the expression is not as severe as before, because the way that you tested it before was you had to physically be tested to survive. So
we need to give women guns in their vagina.
Sure, yeah.
So that if a man rapes you, he loses his dick instantly, forever. So
someone in chat. Sorry, go ahead.
That's it.
It's a bit of a meme question, but someone in chat wanted to ask you how your parents gave you autogynephilia.
By how I was treated and how I was treated as if I don't.
Listen to Destiny Sam Harris podcast. I saw that. Do I really want to? I don't want to just. I
don't deserve love and care by default. Parentified. And I think that big part of my parentification, in combination with being an only child, is me being a man. And if I was a woman, I would have been treated more like a child when in fact I was a child. Because being treated like a child when you're a child is good. And I think that a lot of young boys, their parents stop treating them like children.
Okay. So you believe that your parents made you autogynephilia by not treating you like a child, by giving you a lot more...
Well, I don't know about specifically autogynephilia, but they made me resent being a man.
Okay.
And maybe that became embodied with autogynephilia. We're talking about the sexual aspect of it. But
so that's
my theory.
Yeah, your larger point that a lot of trans people just prefer the role of women. And a lot of
two atheists discussing how important Israel is and how bad Muslims are. Awesome.
The stuff that comes along with that.
Awesome.
Well, it's complicated. I think there's usually a sexual dimension.
Just how I wanted to spend my...
Because it is changing your sex.
What day of the week?
Yeah, I would actually remark on that usually the way that it changes your sex doesn't support the idea that it would be motivated by sexuality, because usually transitioning will reduce your libido.
Being a woman is a sexual thing though.
I mean, partially to a lot of people, probably, because I think
your
even with
sex is core to being a if you are a woman, the gender role of being a woman, your sexuality is very important.
I mean, yeah.
All these people want that pussy power. We call it pussy power for a reason.
Yeah, there is a lot of power in pussy. That's true. But also, when it comes to like the motivation for transitioning,
you can kill a man. You can kill a man with it. That's why they always they won't fucking sit down on my fucking. You know they won't because they're afraid they're gonna suffocate. Fucking what the fuck?
Yeah, you know, that is pretty true. But I would say that like in terms of seriously saying that transitioning is motivated by a sexual aspect, it seems pretty weak. Because I feel like most of the time,
I'm saying is there's always going to be a sexual aspect.
Sure,
I don't know about like I'm saying that like I actually think that the sexual aspect might come from a non-sexual aspect though.
Oh, sure.
But I think there's always going to be. I think that if you're trans, part of it's going to make you horny, and I don't think that might not be like the root where that came from. But I think it's most likely going to be like some part of it that's like sexually exciting.
Okay. Yeah.
Because you're changing sex.
I can buy into that mostly because
I know you've got to appeal to the ironic anti-Semitism audience capture. Dude. What do you mean the audience capture? I've made anti-Semitism more common, okay? It's thanks to, you know, I've been normalizing the use of Hava Nagila. Lyrics has stolen it from me. Lyrics has stolen Hava Nagila from me. I'm a audience capture. I'm a trailblazer in ironic anti-Semitism, okay? And I'm Zog-pilled, exactly, as well. I'm Zog-pilled, too. So I'm doing it to help Israel. I'm like IPAC controlled, basically. I'm like pushing pro-Israel messaging as well. I'm saying it's based and that they should wipe out. Okay.
Because I think most people are like to some degree autoerotic in the first place, like even you. Or sorry, you're a bad example. Even like an average person on the street, probably when they engage with sex, they're usually visualizing themselves to some degree.
Yeah, right on the street.
Not on the street, but like when they do have sex in private. But yeah, estrogen crushes your libido, which is one of those like negative health effects.
Wait,
yeah, I've gone on a couple.
Ethan, what the fuck do you mean? I am unironically pro-Israel. I'm ironically anti-Semitic. What?
A few dates with females that have started taking testosterone, and the reason that they're going on the dates is because they're so horny, and it makes them extra horny, and it also makes them ramble about Dark Souls for like 2 hours, you know. So it's like, oh, this person's really like, you know, this person's really easy to talk to in a way that like a guy is, not like a woman. You know, they'll autistically ramble about Dark Souls for 2 hours, and then it's like, oh, I just started taking testosterone. That's why
Sunday's gonna remove the heart now.
I'm ravenously hungry. That's why I'm ravenously horny. That's why I'm autistic about video games now.
Someone in chat just said something a bit, and you don't have to talk about it if you don't want to, but they said, this has been your bit for 3 years. They said you tried to destroy their ex.
Get this gay person out of here. Get this gay person out of here.
For being a trans-questioning femboy, and all it took was to shut. Yeah. Have you ever done that before?
Tried to destroy somebody?
No gay people.
Tried to like destroy someone for questioning being trans as a femboy.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay.
But if you think like I'm trying to, I have opinions, and if my opinions make you feel destroyed, that's not my problem. I'm not gonna. My channel is I talk about my opinions, and you don't have to agree with me. And I'm not out here trying to like crush anybody. Like I don't want you, Kira, right? I keep calling you trans JSTLK in my mind, okay? Because that's the first.
Oh, let's go. Okay, here we go. Let's go. That's a W.
And I'm not out here trying to like crush anybody. Like I don't want you, Kira, right? I keep calling you trans JSTLK in my mind, okay? Because that's the first. Kyrie.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's Kara to make it
Kara,
easier for you.
So I don't want you to. I was joking about gaslighting in the beginning. I don't actually want you to come out of this conversation like I want you to like because if you just agreed with me, then all of a sudden like that would be bad for you, right? So I don't want you to. I don't want to crush you.
Okay.
You know?
I'm glad.
If you actually did come out of this conversation agreeing with me, it might set you down a path where you're like become like miserable and don't know what the fuck to, you know what I mean? Like just be you.
I think honestly, if I agreed with you, I would probably just continue on the transition because I'm comfortable with it.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
But
and you know what? This has been my position has been that like, so if I were the king of the world and I was like a dictator, I wouldn't let people transition. But if you're already transitioning, I would make sure that you continue getting your hormones.
Yeah, that's respectable. But I would say that like you'd be leaving a huge hole for people like me before I started who felt like they couldn't really cope, you know?
Right. I would mandate like you'd get like a loving family or something.
I mean, without the transition, my family would have been very loving, yeah. But yeah, I hear you.
I think there's some thing that you weren't getting in your. I think there's something you weren't getting in life that you feel like you have access to now. Moment.
The only thing, okay, I will give you this. My social existence has improved a lot. Outside of enjoying myself more as a person, I have more social capital, probably. Yeah. Like, people care what I have to say, or more people want to be friends with me on the face of it than before. That is true.
I don't, who
Destiny fan saying this. DGG is saying this. Okay.
who said that I was trying to destroy them? I don't want to destroy anybody.
I don't know. They have like a not very obvious name in Kick Chat. But yeah, would you ever be open to other people arguing with you? Because a bunch of people want to.
Yeah, so retards join here. Let's skip through a bit here. Let's just get to where. I guess there was maybe something funny happened when Carrier was on.
Is work in tandem. Your genes, your
Smeth was like spurging out, so we might see that. But
genetics, coding and whatnot, and how it's expressed in its environment, your upbringing, your history, and the general direction that you're moving towards as a like the pattern, the recreating pattern that you are, right?
Yeah.
Well, and part of the thing that I keep thinking about as far as the nature be nurture on that
okay,
is
this is really
because we're talking about abstract concepts and whether or not they are good frames of an analysis. But in the end of the day, they are all abstract concepts. They are all lenses to observe the world, and we're arguing about which ones we use. But at the end of the day, the thing that makes thing that makes us different here is I just think that gender is a bad lens to use to analyze people.
You don't think there's any benefits, or do you think the benefits are outweighed? I think
sex is a good lens to use. There are some differences, and we can try to figure out what those are, but I think that gender roles are to be thrown away. I hate them.
Yeah, but I thought you said that you believed in the nurture more than the nature. Wouldn't that?
No, I know. No, I don't believe in it. No, I don't believe in it more. I think that it is. You should focus on nurture more because you can test for nurture by making changes, and you can't test for nature. As at any point at which you think you have nature hammered down, there's always more changes you can make to the environment to test for nurture even more.
Well, if you make changes to nurture, you can never control for nature, so you can't really test nature that well either.
Yeah.
Boring.
That made like SRS and HRT instant and perfectly effective. You would have done it.
Yeah, I would have.
Do you still think you would have pushed that button?
If it was perfect, I would do it for fun, but I wouldn't. I want to be comfortable with who I am without having to push the button. And I think if I push the button, it won't magically make me comfortable with who I am.
But what if it did?
Well, then that would be a separate button.
I mean, if it did, you would have to accept that there is something physical there, right? If SRS and HRT worked to affirm you to the gender that you feel internally,
wish we had trans.
There would have to be something.
I think the only way for it to work would be. So I think that it wouldn't work, and then I think that if you had to give me another button that would make it work, I probably wouldn't push it.
Okay, why?
Because I think it would make me dumber.
You would rather be tested.
I think that a button that just makes you complacent is
dry.
bad.
This is dry.
Not making an analogy for any reason other than medical intervention here, but let's say you were schizophrenic and you knew that if you took medication you could be better, but you could really fight it and just kind of ignore your hallucinations. What would you prefer?
I would want to learn the coping mechanism so that I didn't struggle. I don't know. I really don't know with that one. I really don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I might.
Yeah, sorry.
If it inhibits your ability to function, I don't know. I think society should make space for schizophrenic people so that they can be schizophrenic without feeling miserable. But if it just makes you scared all the time, and so like you could be just so fucked up that you actually just like are broken. But
Okay.
I don't know. I think that's usually not the case. But I'm always gonna fight. I'm always gonna fight the drugs, but I'm open to them.
You're like principally opposed to medicating things with drugs, opposed to accepting yourself naturally. Do you think there's a reason for that, like overall? Because it seems like something that's cropped up a lot like, with the plastic surgery thing.
I just think it is good to accept yourself naturally, and that's what's healthy. I think that you will be the smartest and healthiest, and it's just the best.
Kino Casino on break for a month. Let's go. I assume that's what you. Why are you celebrating Kino Casino being on break?
To be as you are naturally is the most healthy way to be, and I think for society to make you feel otherwise is wrong. For society to make you feel like there's something wrong with you. So that's why I'm saying with schizophrenia, if society is making you feel like there's something wrong with you when in fact you would be perfectly functional, just a little weird, you know what I mean? Then you shouldn't take like make it society's problem. But if it's actually but if it's actually like you are like going to cause harm to other people, or you are going to cause harm to yourself, or you're going to be in severe distress constantly, then that's totally different. But if it's just that it makes you a weirdo, like fuck it.
Okay. So someone in chat just asked, I was about to say, what if it's your problem? But they said something that kind of illustrates that. Do you think it's fine for someone to just be 600 pounds then?
I don't like carrying PPP in stream.
No.
Okay.
Why?
That's unhealthy. It's like
sorry.
It's like I don't think it's fine to like rub feces in your eyes every day. I mean, like you're free country, you know, whatever you want, but I don't think it's good.
I mean, schizophrenia and I would say dysphoria is kind of, or having like an emergent property dysphoria, that explaining your kind of existence as a trans person is an unhealthy thing that we're correcting as well.
I think that dysphoria is not. I already established that I'm not on this trans medicalist thing. I don't think that dysphoria. I think that it may be very hard to get rid of. Like I still have dysphoria, and I embody that. I have the either dysphoria or the underlying feelings that lead to the dysphoria, and I have resentment of the way that I'm treated because I'm a man, and I don't want to lash out at myself. I want to fight to be treated right, and I want to fight for everybody to be treated right. So I think that if you're a weirdo with schizophrenia and it's actually not causing a problem for anybody or you, then you should be fighting for people to accept you. But if you're like, I don't know, you're fucking killing people, or like it's like an extreme. I'm not that schizophrenic people, because I've met plenty of schizophrenic people. They're just weird, and I mean, it might cause them some distress, and that's another issue. But if it isn't, then just if it's society that's making you feel distressed because you're weird, that's not that you're actually making your own distress. You know what I mean? That's you're surrounded by assholes.
Well, I would say that for schizophrenics, just like dysphorics or obese people, there's a bunch of issues that you have internally or privately that society doesn't have to enforce for it to be there. For example, a schizophrenic will feel a lot of distress a lot of the time because of their hallucinations, regardless of how other people respond to them. Or a trans person will sit at home in front of a mirror, regardless of who's talking to them, and feel the most miserable feelings known to man.
Schizophrenia can be something that is like a genetic condition. Yeah, I don't believe dysphoria is a medical. Like, I don't think you were born to have like dysphoria.
Well, you don't have to be born with something for something to be an essential medical condition. E.g., obesity.
Well, however, in a sense, you can say essential, but not essential as in from birth. But sure. But
essential to my mind, all that I'm saying.
So somebody who is obese, I think a solution is for them to,
dry.
It might be a really hard, painful road for them to become not obese. They're gonna have to change a lot of things about things. And if
birth necessarily, which that means that it's not something you have to deal with as long as society shifts sufficiently. Hence the gender abolitionist take. So you don't really believe
it's not there from birth. So it's like kind of like the makeup thing. So it's like, let's say that it's there permanently and it's not there from birth, but by all practical means, it's almost going to be there for the rest of your life. I'm probably going to have like the type of resentment that I've talked about for the rest of my life. But so makeup, and so
you'd have to agree that like people. Okay. The issue that I have with that analogy is it's basically asserting that like because a trans person performed the role of woman better, it made someone more dysphoric. Whereas I think dysphoria is more of a binary experience that you either have or you don't have, based on whatever seems to trigger it, based on this like incongruence between your sex and your internal sense of sex or gender. I feel like
we're starting to glaze over this. I'm thinking about my mind is drifting elsewhere.
Yeah.
Okay. Like so these gender conversations always end up making me start to glaze over because
yeah, no shit. Yeah, tell me about it.
I think I made it clear like what I think.
Yeah, I think like the fundamental issue is I have to address it factually, because if you don't believe that it's like an essential condition, then all of it's a moot point. If you believe that it's all just kind of a result of like social stigma or like
no, that's not what that's not even the point that we're like at. Like I think that even if it's never going to go away, it's better to not transition, because the next person that has that same feeling, if they see the people with those feelings all transitioning.
I guess everyone in the class of like obese person to cope if it's seen as
I don't
like.
think they should cope though. They should reduce their weight because they're going to die.
Trans people should cope. I think they should transition because they're always going to feel.
I know, but I do.
Why would you think that they should cope though? If
because it's not like being obese, you're not going to die.
Well,
like I just think that you hate yourself, and we all hate ourselves, and maybe you hate yourself a lot more than most people hate themselves. And like when I say yourself, I mean your body, like how people are treated you, whatever combination of those that leads to these things. But I just think that like yeah, we all hate ourselves. Maybe you hate yourself more than everyone else, and I think that if your response to that is to change yourself, it makes everyone's self-hatred more of an issue because now we all think that the solution to ourselves hating ourselves is there's no out.
Fuck.
There's no out. You can't escape hating yourself.
I mean, you're basically, again, you seem to be arguing from the place of like, for the average human, self-acceptance is better than being like highly scrutinized and like
obviously, right?
body dysmorphic. But I would say that there's a different character here where it's not just
but you're not getting
instead
it's because of society.
Exactly the disagreement though, because you basically just said what I said before, which is your belief is dysphoria is only caused by society, and I would say it is identical to obesity in the sense that it's caused by something physical.
Oh, and now we're on 1X.
Right. Okay, then we do disagree on that.
Yeah, and it also flies in the face of what you said about schizophrenia, because why would the schizophrenic not be able to get care for that if it is like a physical condition for them as well?
Well,
I'm saying if it is not causing them any problems other than them just being a weirdo that people don't like, I don't think anybody should have to take pills so that they stop being a weirdo that people don't like.
Yeah, but the issue isn't, it's not just that you're upsetting other people, it's that even if you were in a void only interacting with yourself.
In that case, take it. In that case, take it. Yeah.
Okay, well, that is essentially my take with trans people. Regardless of people around you, there's an essential pain there that only seems to go away from transitioning. Or is mitigated at least by transitioning.
Right.
Okay.
I don't think that it should be mitigated. I think that you gotta.
But why?
So like sometimes I will be like, I used to do a lot of like weed edibles, and I did them for fun.
Awesome, bro. That's
pause
epic.
for a sec. Someone wants to join. Do you mind me pulling in Raylan?
Yeah, I think that's about time to turn the shit off. Oh, brother. Leaf Eater. Let's watch this. Let's go back to this guy's channel. Let's watch this again. Okay, look, let's...
Go ahead, but...
I'm bracing.
Look, I might fucking snap again.
Okay, it's cool. It's cool. Because we're circling a lot. It's better to have fresh perspectives.
Hey, Raylan.
This is
Raylan,
this is gonna be rough, guys. I'm not looking forward to this.
Maybe they're okay.
No. My...
Okay,
oh, you're
cool.
quiet as fuck.
I'll turn them up.
Is it better now?
You're not.
From
You're
my
still
perspective.
I still barely can hear you.
I might need to change my input on my... Sorry.
Is it really better?
I mean, I can turn up the gain for Discord as well.
I did that already, but
this is heinous.
Okay, let's see if it's any...
That's better.
That's better. Good job.
Okay. Thank you. I'm so sorry.
Now it's worse. Cool. Get back closer to your mic.
Oh. Yeah.
There you go. Perfect. All right, lay it on me. Let me have it.
The leaf. I do this shit for the leaf.
So, as someone just came out of rehab and was recently diagnosed with an STD because of it. Because of afterwards in some a bad spiral.
The leaf.
Where do you think the difference between socially acceptability within the gay community and sort of the normalization of it would come from?
I know what you're talking about.
You might have to
I know what you're talking about.
What do you? What are you saying? You have? It sounds like you have an opinion here. What do you think about it?
Because I was listening to earlier about that one guy had to kick, who was talking about like masculinity and femininity within gay culture. So I was gonna about normalization.
I got really snap triggered there, and I stand by it. But also, I'm an asshole.
Yeah, totally. I get it. I was more calling in about like bug chaser culture, technically, with the gay community and how like that, and like everyone's stance on that end.
Bug chasing.
Like people who specifically try to get like STDs or spread STDs. Yeah.
That's not unhealthy. That's unhealthy.
This is just
no bueno.
Yeah, I can see how. Like,
but I can see what's sexy about it, though.
Dude, that's so fucking gross. Get me out, man. This is so fucked up. This is so fucked up. Oh god. This your man's. Who's my man's here? Who's my man's here? Which one? Ryzek? None of them. Okay.
Yeah, what was it? There was that guy who made like a whole documentary about like being a known bug chaser and like when, like a few years back. But still, you do kind of see it being normalized within some end of the gay community, and it's sort of, I don't know. Like, I don't think people within the gay community are having safe enough sex still, if that is still like a popular kink or fetish within it.
Even if it isn't, but yeah, it being there makes it a lot more dangerous for gay people, I would assume. Yeah. That's I would be pissed if I was gay. That's like, dude, fuck, you're making it worse. You're making it fucking worse. Take the prep. Take the prep.
Rudimute Crab super chatted $3.40. 3x the mentally ill.
If you have
Can we
AIDS
3x the
now,
playback
that's a thing in
speed?
progressive circles.
If you got AIDS or HIV, you've got a responsibility.
Yeah, it's a pretty big deal. Even you can medicate it nowadays.
Like, I understand, like, so, and like, it really does suck because as somebody who doesn't have HIV, I understand that it might be true that me having sex with somebody with HIV might not, and they take like a drug and everything, and I'll be safe and I won't get it from them. But if you tell me, I'm gonna shit my pants. Like, we're on a date and I'm like expecting to be fucking you later. It's going well. And you're expecting it too. And so you tell me, I'm going to actually like physically get like shivers down my spine. I'm just going to start panicking because it's scary. Right. And so
I hope I didn't miss anything.
That would be awful to have to live.
Oh, yeah. Was that a rude mudcrab dono? 3 times the mentally ill. Can we 3 times the playback speed? No. This is perfect playback speed for this mental illness.
You just want to fuck me, and I'm going to be horrified. And that's awful.
You missed a great comment from Where's Ali. Was it before the dono, or was it that one that just came in? It must be that last one. What's he saying here? Bug-late the C cables by hand. When's the last time you worked a 500-hour work day?
Okay. But
yeah. Rylan, anything else?
Bug chasers, you're all being assholes. You're making it worse. I feel you.
Okay, I think we've mostly for our argument we've drilled to a point where I'm trying to see if, because I do believe that our critical disagreement and why we can't really progress is the factual understanding of what dysphoria is. Because if you saw it as a physical condition identical to obesity, you would have the same take as me.
Yeah, but I don't.
Yeah, so that's why, like, if the argument's to be... Yeah, sorry.
Well, it is... I think that theoretically you could do the work and...
Oh, no. Guys, Andrew Wilson shaved. No! No, this is so fucked up. What did blood do? It's over. This is Andrew Wilson. You wrong, Ma? The left one. Oh, brother. I mean, he's at least got like he's not got a terrible facial structure. He just looks like he looks like a little boy. He looks like a Tommy little boy. He looked like pretty good before with the beard. But he looks like a chubby little boy. Like his face is not like ugly or anything. It's just he just looks way too young. I just bought a new toupee. Infrared Haas. How do I find them? How do I find them? Oh, I see.
And I don't know exactly what that's.
Oh, there's no fucking way, dude. This is insane. Dude. I've never seen two men fuck themselves up for a debate appearance so bad. Dude, look at this. This is insane. Dude. What the fuck am I looking at here? Yeah, this is like AI generated. Dude, this is so fucked up, man. It just, why the toupee just does not fit at all. Why did he get this One Direction ass hairpiece, bro? Haas. What are you doing, man? Oh,
Stop being dysphoric. But but unlike obesity, there's no guarantees at all.
What basis do you have for people doing the work? And sorry, Rylan.
No, it's fine. I was calling in about the whole chasing thing because
it's cool.
I recently did have like an experience with it last month and didn't know for like a month on end that an ex-partner did end up testing positive for it. So that's why I was calling in to like get everyone else's thoughts about it.
Awesome.
You know, actually, instead of arguing about
this, I'm paused.
If we've reached a point where I would have to autistically go through studies to demonstrate you,
There's nothing you can do.
It to you.
There's nothing you can do. You can't save me.
Yeah, I think honestly I'm interested in talking to you about the Destiny report and like what you think happened there.
Oh God.
Oh brother.
But it's up to you.
I think that Max bit off way more than he can chew, and I think that a lot more people promised to follow through and then didn't, and I don't think he only had like a couple, like most of it was the Anna thing and the lab thing, but the real meat of it was
I've got to pull this out. I'm sorry, I've got it.
Going down there, you see, I don't, not at C3, and you got a subsection, and you got a P. There are only two holes. Whoa, there are only two holes. Whoa, there are only two holes. Whoa, there are only two holes, and they to this day deny the complex of their content. Vaginal complex, it encompasses them all. Hey, whoa, there are only two holes. 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 Whoa, let's go. Only two holes. Whoa, there are only two holes. Whoa, there are only two.
The Anna thing. That was like the Anna part is the Anna part's serious. Like it's like how can you read that and not be like Jesus? But the
sorry, Emery wants to join. Do you mind if I?
God damn it, dude! Fuck, God fucking damn it. Okay, I know Emery. He's a fucking let this fucking knucklehead in here.
Okay.
Christ.
Hey.
I have like the Mr. Girl Orbiter gathering here.
Oh, wait.
Is Emery, are you a Mr. Girl Orbiter?
Hold up. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, we can hear you.
I had you pre-turned down from a previous fucking VC.
Raylan needs to change that fucking disgusting PFP. Holy shit. Dude, Raylan's been on there talking about bug chasing and how he's fucking paused now. So that's that's the least of our concerns, okay?
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I did.
Why is that?
How do you feel about that?
You were saying,
you know,
about
I wouldn't
the-
be surprised. Smeth, this is my schizo theory about you.
Okay.
Want to
let's
hear my
it.
schizo theory?
Absolutely.
Probably 100% not true. But hear me out. I think you're projecting all of your dysphoria, all your trans dysphoria. You've found a way to project it onto something else completely. And so now you're trying to become not a woman, but the closest thing you can be to Mr. Girl. How's that sound?
I thought you were gonna say a bitch, not a woman, but a bitch.
No, what? No.
No.
In here.
I think. I'm actually. I'm trying to. I get freaked out when I do things, and I'm like, because I was a nude model before I ever knew about Mr. Girl, and I hate my job.
I don't believe you when you say that. I mean, it's probably true, but
you don't believe me, but it's probably true.
Everything aligns with. I relate with Mr. Girl this way, this way, this way, this way, this way. You emulate almost everything.
I don't emulate though. Well, yeah, I guess there are some ways to emulate,
which is fine, but it gets to a point where everyone starts to call you, wow, like this guy is just trying to be Mr. Girl, the closest thing, and it becomes.
I'm not trying to be Mr. Girl.
Okay,
I don't believe
you. Just confronting Smith on how he's similar to Mr. Is just so pointless. He did his gay little fucking essay about how he's not Max. Okay, leave it alone. It's tired. Boring topic. Not that.
Do you guys mind if I pull in Yuki? By the way.
Yeah,
Yuki,
absolutely,
come in
absolutely.
Okay,
I
cool.
love Yuki. It's another pal. Yuki, more like yucky.
Why are you trying to be Jewish?
Why am I trying to be Jewish?
Yo, what's up, Smeth? Do I still need to make the Smeth report?
Yeah, that is Pyrocynical.
Yeah.
You should attribute anything this person says to Pyrocynical.
I'll get right back on that.
All right.
Anyways, I just have one question.
All right.
So
why are you Jewish?
I don't know, cause my fucking dad was.
Oh.
That's a really fucking stupid question. Why are you Jewish? Is it because Mr. Girl's Jewish?
It's because my name is Seth and I look like a Jew. I look like
no
a
one Greek. No one believes that.
People actually treat me.
No.
You're Greek.
Yeah, I know. I am Greek. I am Greek.
Yeah, your fucking last name's mega Greek.
I know.
Yes, I know. Anyways, I just had one question. So HRT helps alleviate dysphoria, right? Or did you guys agree on that, disagree on that? What's the consensus among the scientific group of geniuses?
From what I've seen, it helps. I don't know too much information. I'd be portraying myself in a negative light if I portrayed as definitively this is the case that it helps. But what I've heard and seen, yeah.
So I depends. This is like this is why these types of conversations. I'm sorry.
How are you calling this all my mans? Okay, look, What do you mean they're my mans? Not my mans. But everyone wants to be Jewish. None of these people are Jewish. Okay, they're all pretending. Pull up your merch. These are your people. That's your man's wearing your merch. Anyone can buy merch. Anyone can wear merch. Okay. Everyone should wear merch. Everyone should buy merch. There's actually merch available on my channel page. If you go to my channel page, you can see there's merch available that you can buy right now. Isn't that crazy, guys? Isn't that crazy? We actually sold a hoodie the other day. I noticed. Someone ordered a hoodie. Huge stuff.
But this is why these conversations really exhaust the shit out of me and make me glaze over. Because when you say alleviate dysphoria, I know you're just gonna ask a simple question. I'm giving you like a big thing. But when you say alleviate dysphoria, it depends on how you fucking define these things. Because so like I would say like if you are afraid.
I've been buying merch a long time ago. Fuck's sake, dude! I'm such a retard, dude.
People are gang stalking you, and like I tell you that like it's true. They're gang stalking you. That'll like make you. I don't think it alleviates the fact that you think people are gang stalking you. You're still the fact that you're on HRT means that you definitionally still have dysphoria.
Yeah, everyone's aware that dysphoria never goes away. You know that, right? Like,
right. Yeah,
that's
what I'm
all it does is alleviate it to the best of its abilities. Yeah, like you're still probably going to have like a lot of problems societally speaking. A lot of people are going to treat you like shit. You're probably still going to be suicidal for like multiple different reasons, especially if you're going through transition and it's a rough transition.
I think it could only ever make it worse.
First of all, gang stalking's real. If you're listening, you are being gang stalked. People are gang stalking you right now. They're outside your house. They're watching you every single time.
I think when you say
you interact with,
it can only make it worse. You think that, but you don't know that. And when somebody tells you, "Hey, my transition, it actually alleviated, it helped," you ignore that. You do realize that, Smeth. You ignore when people say the opposite of what you think.
Actually, I'm gonna side with Smith here. I think it makes it worse. I think it makes it worse because if you look at the majority of what openly trans people post on the internet, it's always talking about how they look incredibly gross and they look like a man and their shoulder to hip ratio is not a fucking Da Vinci painting and they don't look like what pops up on their Instagram feed and they'll never be a woman, blah 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 blah.
Sure, so, it makes you focus. I'm not sitting here saying like
I think it makes you focus on your it makes you focus on your body more. And so I think like we were doing this was like, you know, when you have like this was like a cacophony, this was a symphony of voices. This was a thing of
God spoke and the choir sang. Smeth's right. HRT makes you hyperfixate on your body. It makes you go, holy shit, my shoulders are bigger than my hips. I need to fix that.
They are hyperfixated on their body before even taking their HRT, so it's not like
if you could live until the age of 30 and not hyperfixated on your body, like realistically, you don't need estrogen. Buy a goddamn boat.
Okay, I got a hot take since Yuki's here and Yuki's like always shitting out hot takes and shit. Okay, I think a lot of the argumentation in favor of trans people is because people want to fuck trans people, and so we want to have more trans people so we can fuck them.
The actual hot take here is that older trans people want younger trans people so they can fuck them. That's why they push for younger transition ages.
Well, we need to make our laws exactly identical to Thailand so that we can have lady boys.
Actually, wait, I want to spice up the conversation. Why do you think there's so many trans people that are into lolicon? Or that are pedophiles?
Oh my god, you just stolen my point that I said earlier.
Straight white men that are into lolicons and into Shota or gay weirdos.
I
mean, we can say this about like
Sleepy bringing the content. Sleepy
well, yeah, but why is it always somebody on the internet getting exposed for that shit? And it was like
because a lot of people on the internet that are hyper.
I don't even care.
Spaces with young people, they're fucking weirdos and tend to be groomers.
I don't care if people are into lolicon and Shota. I don't care.
I care.
I agree with Destiny.
Oh wait, it's Sleepy. I thought it was Femios. Jeez.
I agree with Destiny.
We both have to say that immediately, just to make sure.
I agree with Destiny here. It's just drawings.
Wow.
I know.
Bold of you.
That's a wild take.
Yeah.
Wow, that's like the most amazing, unique take I've ever heard in my life.
Gotcha.
I also agree.
They're just words. They're just
I also
letters.
agree with this amazing, unique take I've never heard in my life by anyone.
Yeah, instructions on how to make bombs. They're just words.
There is substance to what you said a little while ago, where he was like, trans people, the issues are only usually a consideration from a lot of people because they want to fuck them. Unironically, a lot of support is literally just for like the top 1% most passable like Twitter trans girls.
Yeah, if you look, they're always like, oh my god, like you'll never see somebody sitting there being like, yes, queen, to like somebody who's like 35 over the hill, has a fucking beer belly, all this other shit. It's always going to be fixation on like Kaftaj because they want to fuck Kaftaj. They don't want to be the beer belly bitch.
There's like actual social value there. There's sympathy for them. But if you're like someone who looks like a man, which is most trans people, realistically, no one really cares about you.
You know, being a DGGer is like being trans. You're trying to transition into becoming a Destiny debate lord.
Yeah, a little. Smeth was saying earlier. Sorry.
No, I was just saying it tends to be the case. You try to pick up the language. You try to emulate every argument. You know, you get obsessed with all the topics that Destiny does. You want to be him. Every DGG wants to be him deep down.
Ryzek, he didn't say it's Taftaj. That was Tiziana. Tiziana. Damn, you pass like a motherfucker. Fucking idiot.
Transition into a short little manlet.
Somebody who is a fan of Destiny but has a minor disagreement is transitioning into being Mr. Girl. Because eventually the community will chew you and spit you out and call you an anti-fan. And Forethought will ban you and pretend to be L from the horrible Netflix movie because he's black and sounds retarded.
Wait, why is Sleepy winning? Wait. Hey, why is Sleepy kind of winning?
Any input, Seth?
Yeah, I was gonna say though, it seemed I almost said Spin Boy. He's in my head. It seems like Smeth
I remember Spin Boy. I remember him.
He's in my head. He's shitting on. He's actually there.
Of course he is.
I was gonna say, it seems like Smith earlier was suggesting that a lot of people transition just for like the social capital or like the benefits outside of transitioning. But I feel like when you look at most people who transition, their lives are on paper usually worse. You're only looking at like attractive trans women if you want to say that there's like a boost there.
Smith, are you ready?
Well, yeah, most who transition just look like they're fucking 17 forever.
If you ever transition, Smith, are you ready for like the various harassment, the sexual harassment, the groping? Are you ready for all that?
In my fucking Twitter tweets right now.
Of course. Yeah, that's what he wants. That's why he wants to be a woman.
Are you ready for like the various harassment, the sexual harassment, the groping? Are you ready for all that?
In my fucking Twitter tweets right now, I have a tweet calling Seth a hun right now. It's ready to go.
Oh yeah, I because you know what comes with that, oh man, the rage baiting I could do, and I can start an OnlyFans, and oh man, how much money for that fucking butthole? Oh god, yeah.
Bro,
you ready for the time when you finally get assaulted, and then you put out that twit longer telling your story, and like literally no one believes you? That'd be fucking based. That'd be so great. A great experience.
Yeah, but then I'll go viral, and then all of DGG will pile on me, and
they'll stand up and clap.
Yeah.
Actually, no. Smeth could make a killing out of transitioning and then just rage baiting after every time he gets called sir by a customer. He could be retail Lily Tino.
I want you to know, I accept you as the young, beautiful woman that you are. I don't accept you as this. You're a degenerate Mr. Girl wannabe, and it's disgusting to me.
Why would I want to be him though?
Max,
I hope you heal. Transition for your own health at this point. You're disturbing me. I'd rather have a trans freak in your eyes.
I agree with him though. I agree with you though, because like if I were to be like Max, my life would be like,
it already is like Max. Nobody respects you. Nobody takes you seriously. You are a delusional freak in the eyes of many.
I don't think that's true.
Why did you do this to yourself, Smith?
I don't think that's true.
Was the transition worth it? You feel comfortable in your own body?
Dead on YouTube?
Yeah,
I stream like once a week. So for whatever I do, I'm pretty good. Why are you guys just shitting on me?
Why not? It's fun.
What is this, a roast?
Yes.
The roast of Smith.
I say this with love, Smith. I don't say this with hate. I say this with love.
Here's the thing. Smith is a great guy. Smith is one who helped me out with a lot of issues, a lot of bad things in life. But I will say, the world would probably be better off if Smith figured out if he wanted to be fucking Mr. Girl or Charles from MDE.
Who's Charles?
Pick a fucking side.
I'm not even trying to meme right now. Sorry.
Actually, wait, I have a question. Smith, why do you think people are gay?
Well, because I exist.
Sex.
Sure. What was it?
Sure.
What?
I did look it up a minute ago. You said overall, emotionally and psychologically, I think the sexes are the same overall.
Like we're.
And
oh great! Now they're all fucking joining. Oh my god.
Destiny sound way cooler.
Sorry, I heard this talking.
This is about to be terrible.
Came up with a way to.
Yeah, this is no longer interesting. Oh, your mans? No, not my mans. Actually, not. There's no connection that can be drawn. This is what DGG is. It's like DGG chasers. Okay.